What's up, guys? I hope you're well. Today we're checking out 5 things newer F1 fans will never have experienced. That's a tongue tie, isn't it? Let's get into it.
5 things newer F1 fans will never have experienced. With Formula 1 ever growing in popularity, I thought it'd be a bit of fun to look back. But don't worry, I'm not going all the way back to the 1950s. And give newer F1 fans a bit of an insight into what they will have never experienced. I'm kind of going by my lifetime as a general rule, so only 20 or so years.
Yeah, I was about to say about 20 years, buddy.
We do love a complain and a moan about things not being right in Formula 1, me included, but some of these on this list really make you think, okay, fair enough, the sport is in a pretty good place right now. Here are 5 things newer F1 fans won't have experienced. Tyre war. Yes, an actual tyre war. Pirelli have been the sole tyre supplier since 2011, where everyone has had a level playing field in terms of the tyres they have been supplied.
That's good.
But before then, between 2001 and 2006 most notably, there was an all-out scrap between Michelin and Bridgestone to supply the best tyre. Between 2001 and 2004, the Ferrari-Bridgestone combination was unstoppable, so much so they were pegged back in 2005 by some new rules, which forbid routine tyre changes during the course of a Grand Prix. You heard that right, you weren't allowed to change tyres for the entire race. It was a rule imposed strictly to stop Ferrari from winning everything. This allowed Fernando Alonso, Renault and Michelin to execute a winning combination and take the title in 2005 and 2006. Refueling. You have to cast your minds back all the way to the end of the 2009 season to see a race where refueling was allowed in Formula 1, which is absolutely crazy. It doesn't really feel that long ago we saw those big old chunky hoses going into the Formula 1 cars for a cheeky splash and dash. Refueling was banned due to safety reasons, which was definitely a good thing. We saw times where the cars would leave their pit box too early and rip the entire fuel hose out of its socket,
times the whole car was engulfed in
in a pit stop and the entire car went up in flames. Those moments were incredibly scary, and in my opinion, it was a very good choice to ban doing something so dangerous in a sport where everything is rushed to get to the finish line in the shortest time possible. The drivers obviously weren't thrilled that they had to have their car carry the entirety of the fuel load for the whole race due to the weight of the car at the start. Romain Grosjean even said back in 2020 that having refueling would help the Pirelli tyres from overheating by being 60 or 70 kilograms lighter. He has a point, but safety comes first.
It does.
Right, come on, why are we still having this conversation? You haven't subscribed to the WTF1 YouTube channel yet. We're pumping out Formula 1 content. Please subscribe now. Love ya. No DRS. Racing without DRS?
What?
The drag reduction system, which can be activated when you're within 1 second of the car ahead in a DRS zone, was introduced in 2011 with overtaking in mind. Before then, in 2009 and 2011, we officially had KERS, the kinetic energy recovery system, which gave drivers a short-term power boost each lap for around 6.7 seconds.
That's a long
this
boost.
was manually deployable and could be used to attack or defend. I quite like this simple to understand push-to-pass type system within the F1 cars, which we could monitor quite easily and know when drivers were vulnerable for an overtake. Of course, there is still kinetic energy recovery in the cars today, but not used quite in the same manner. Going back to DRS, we may complain sometimes that an F1 track hasn't got it quite right when it comes to the position of the DRS zone and overtakes are too easy or too hard. But F1 before 2009 was a straight-up fight with no gimmicks and usually not a lot of overtaking. I love how people look back to the glory days, but then seem to forget that Michael Schumacher dominated a lot of it and the cars really weren't built at all for wheel-to-wheel racing. Terrible qualifying formats. Oh, don't even get me started on the qualifying formats Formula 1 used to have back in the day. If you have your criticisms of qualifying in this day and age, I respect your opinion, but your opinion is wrong. God, I sound like Twitter, don't I? We could have it much, much worse. In 2016, F1 tried a new elimination qualifying format, which, my God, was one of the worst things ever. Every 90 seconds, the slowest F1 driver would be eliminated from qualifying, very much like a last driver standing. Random drivers were being knocked out because they couldn't get round in time to start their lap. The whole thing was chaos, but not good chaos. Thankfully, it only lasted for 2 races. Another example of terrible qualifying formats was aggregate qualifying, where a driver's grid position would be decided by 2 single-lap qualifying runs added together. One run on Saturday with quali fuel and one on Sunday with race fuel, when refueling was allowed, of course. Unfortunately, because they had to get qualifying done on the Sunday before the race, it was on at pretty early times. No one really watched. Murray Walker. I thought if there was ever a time to include the legend, then this is it. Murray Walker was the voice of Formula One with his passion for the sport oozing out of the microphone every single time he spoke into it. I'm pretty sure everyone loved Murray, even when he made some rather hilarious slip-ups. Some iconic lines are, "This would have been Senna's third win in a row if he'd won the two before. I don't make mistakes, I make prophecies which immediately turn out to be wrong." And there are 7 winners of the Monaco Grand Prix on the starting line today, and 4 of them are Michael Schumacher. He is simply brilliant.
Nice.
If you haven't listened to a Murray commentary, I thoroughly suggest you go and experience one.
It's like when we have baseball here, so we have Yogi-isms, like the old baseball player for the Yankees, old catcher, Yogi Berra. He'd have the weirdest but funniest quotes. You got to check them out. They're really good.
There you have it, 5 things newer F1 fans will never have experienced. Were there any missing on this list that you'd have included? Let us know in the comment section below.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, they're right. I'll never see any of that stuff. I mean, I just got into Formula One this year, so, and it's hard for me to watch some of the races because I start at like 5 a.m. my time, and I'm like, I am not a morning person, so I usually have to go back and rewatch the race. But it's been relatively enjoyable this year. I just wish somebody would compete with Verstappen a little bit better. But hey, it is what it is. It's the Max Verstappen show for 2023. With that being said, I want to thank you all for watching. Stay safe, and don't forget to wash your hands. Bye.